All right, all right. Hey, Happy New Year. My first random video of the year that I can put out on YouTube, Facebook, social media, and all that good stuff. And it is regarding a topic I've touched on in 2023, but it seems like everybody but me received an e-bike or an e-scooter or an electric trike or something for Christmas. And when I was out walking around my neighborhood yesterday, there's e-bikes and e-dirt bike tracks everywhere. They're just whizzing all over the place. And it reminded me of this question that I've been asking insurance professionals that I know. Are e-bikes actually covered by homeowners, rental policies, anything like that? Are e-bikes covered by these insurance policies that most of us have, but we think they cover our vehicles? We think we cover everything just fine. We most of us don't stop and ask the question, is it really covered? So I've asked three different insurance professionals, and the answers were conflicting. I asked one insurance professional with Farmers Insurance. I said, is the e-bike covered, right? Is my e-bike covered? And they said, yeah, sure, absolutely. Okay, all right, so that's interesting. It's covered. You're sure? Yeah, no, absolutely. So here's what I ultimately found as we dug in, and I asked them to go back and dig in a little bit more, please, right? Because that doesn't seem to jive with Farmer's own website. Farmer's website actually has a very specific section about e-bikes and golf carts. E-bikes are not covered under your standard farmer's insurance policy. Matter of fact, they actually have to insure their e-bikes, because I went back to that same person and said, hey, the website says this. Okay, well, it turns out in order to insure an e-bike, because it is an electric vehicle, a motorized vehicle, they actually have to go to an outside carrier that covers motorcycles. It is not covered. Is the e-bike covered for theft? No, it is not covered for theft. In most cases, that e-bike, very expensive relative to a regular pedal bike, the e-bike is also not covered by your standard insurance policy. So then I went to a friend who writes a lot of business under Mercury Insurance, and I asked, hey, does Mercury Insurance cover e-bikes? And the answer, they said they spoke to an underwriter at the insurance company, and the underwriter said, yeah, sure, it's absolutely covered. Interesting. You go to Mercury Insurance's website as well, and electronic bikes generally have limited or no coverage under standard homeowners or renters insurance policies because they are categorized as motorized vehicles. They're motorized vehicles. They are not covered. So the two big insurance companies that I checked with, not a chance. State Farm, same thing. You've got to cover that under a different policy. You have to make sure that it's actually endorsed on your policy. It is not just simply covered. Now, why is this important? For theft, absolutely. Totally important, right? Because e-bikes are super expensive in some cases thousands and thousands of dollars. And if your e-bike is stolen and you do not have an endorsement on your renter's policy or your homeowner's insurance policy, your e-bike is not covered by your insurance. No, no, no. It's just like having a $15,000 piece of jewelry. If it is not properly endorsed on your insurance, the insurance company's not covering that expensive ring or watch. They're not going to cover it. Same thing with e-bikes. If it's not properly actually listed on your policy, no go. Now, more important than theft, in my opinion, right? Because if you have an e-bike stolen, you might lose 2, 3, 4, 5. If it's a Porsche e-bike, you might lose $9,000, right? But let's say you lose a $1,500 or a $2,000 bike to theft, you lost $1,500, $1,500 or $100 or $2,000. Now, what if on the other hand, okay, what if on the other hand, you're charging your e-bike in the living room of your home or apartment, and the battery in your e-bike explodes. Yes, explodes. It exploded, seriously injuring them. And what if it burned down the building and killed someone? That happened in New York. An e-bike fire caused an apartment above the e-bike location to catch on fire as well, and actually killed residents in the apartment above. Do you think that a lawsuit might happen as a result of something like that? Absolutely. Do you think the insurance company will cover it because it happened inside your home and you had rental insurance? It was an e-bike that exploded in the apartment. Probably not going to be covered. What about a fatal crash? What about yep, eastbound lane hit by a pickup truck, right? Is that covered in any way by insurance that he's out on an e-bike? What about this situation with a pedestrian? This is the one I would worry about as well, even more, because this pedestrian, I have a question for you after you watch this. Whoa. Do you think that lady could potentially have injuries? I met someone not long ago that they're a good friend of theirs actually ended up in a similar situation with a broken pelvis and had to be ambulanced to the hospital. Do you think that could result in a lawsuit against the rider of the e-bike? And do you think any kind of homeowners or rental or auto insurance would protect them? Not a chance. And finally here, if you run into the side of my car with your e-bike and your friend over the hood, and I've got damage on my vehicle, do you think perhaps I'm going to want you to pay for it? Yes, those ladies survived, but they smashed up the side of that guy's car. There's going to be a lawsuit inbound. So if you have an e-bike, a golf cart, if you have an electric scooter, an electric cooler, there's a kid in our neighborhood that races around on one of those igloo coolers with an electric motor and everything inside. If you have anything like that, please make sure that it is actually insured properly. Don't take the word of your Geico or Farmers or State Farm or Liberty Mutual insurance agent. Oh, sure, no problem, it's covered. Prove it. Prove it in the language of the policy. Where is it actually covered? Where is it not excluded? That's what you've got to do. And I would submit to you that it's far more likely that your insurance policy excludes motorized vehicles of any kind unless you have properly endorsed them on your policy. This is the conversation we have all the time with our clients through the law firm and through my experience as a financial planner. It's protection in all facets of your life, if possible. We have insurance for that. We have limited liability companies for our businesses and rental properties, but we often miss little details like this. So please take this as a call to action. Contact your insurance company. Make sure that your e-bikes are covered, because I'll tell you what, somebody smashes me and hurts me bad on an e-bike, there is definitely going to be a lawsuit inbound, right? If I'm injured badly enough, there's a lawsuit inbound, and the insurance companies won't be there to protect if it's not properly endorsed. So Happy New Year, right? Make sure that before you hop on your e-bike again, get out there and make sure it's insured properly. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Information presented is for educational purposes only and is not intended for solicitation, sale or purchase of any security or financial product. Be sure to first consult with a qualified financial advisor and your tax professional before implementing any strategy discussed here. The term personal pension refers to a marketing name designed to educate future retirees and retirees about the economic principles behind creating their own pension-like income. The term personal pension is not intended to be confused with a defined benefit pension plan offered by an employer or by a government entity.